High winds in tractor trailers can lead to trailer sway, and trailer sway can lead to white knuckle driving. So we bought a Hensley Hitch.
Hey, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we're
two crazy campers. After losing a combined weight of more than 200 pounds,
we realized we had so much more energy for activities.
Come along with us as we explore the great outdoors.
And join us on a brand new adventure.
So I'm a pretty experienced trailer driver. I mean, I also tow an 8,000 pound landscape trailer, and I've towed it on the highways, and I've never had any issues. But when we were coming home from Corson State Park, we experienced some winds cutting across the state, and it was scary.
It was absolutely frightening. I mean, there's a big difference between your landscaping trailer and how light that they make these travel trailers.
Right.
I mean, it's by design, but boy, it was scary. And it was very scary for me as a passenger as well, because I love the driver of our rig and I want him to be comfortable. And I could just see that he was nervous for such a long time. And I thought, man, if we were doing this with a cross-country trip, or if we were going across even 2 states trip, this would really be a nightmare. And I think that it would have negatively impacted our camping trip altogether.
Yeah. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, you got to make sure your weight is proper. Our weight is on point. We're driving an F-250 3/4 ton. I've got airbags in there. I've got a trailer that doesn't even weigh 6,000 pounds. We're not traveling with a bunch of extra weight. There's a little bit more weight towards the tongue than the back, so there's no reason to have sway when it comes to weight. This was just some winds, and they weren't even super bad winds, but it was just a scary experience. And the bottom line is, we live in Florida. Florida gets winds. We want to go down to the Keys. You never know what kind of winds you're going to get coming off of the ocean. You never know what kind of winds you're going to experience coming across the state, coming off of Lake Okeechobee.
Yeah, with all of the different weight distribution, hacks that we've tried to do our part to make our travel as safe as possible. When we got done with that trip, we asked each other, is there anything more that we could do to fix this? Because we really don't want to experience that again.
Yeah, so we started researching the hitches, and specifically the Hensley Hitch as well as the Pro Pride Hitch. Now, if you have researched them at all, you're going to find out they're both designed by the same guy. They're designed by Hensley. Hensley sold his patents off to Hensley Hitch. They were there for a while. Then the Pro Pride folks kind of broke off. Hensley sold them the patents. They've made a couple of little changes, but basically when it comes down to engineering, they're the same hitch with a couple of little differences. But we ended up going with the Hensley Hitch, and that was after a lot of research, because the Hensley Hitch is slightly more expensive, not too much more, but slightly more. But when we called them, they did offer to match the price. The difference came down to, for me, customer service. I really didn't like, as I was researching all over the internet, all I was finding were people from Pro Pride bashing the people from Hensley. So I don't know if there's bad blood there or anything like that, but it just kind of gave me an uneasy feeling. So I went with the Hensley Hitch, and they were awesome. So we ordered the Hensley Hitch. They guessed at what the right stinger that we're going to need, and they said if there's any kind of issues, it's a free exchange including shipping until we get it right for the first 60 days. So in this video, we're going to show you how I install it. Now again, it's not the official install. I'm just going to show you me step-by-step installing, and hopefully I can help you out a little bit. Then we'll come back after our trip and tell you what we think of it. Okay, so the first step is going to be to get the old weight distribution hitch off. So I will say this, the Hensley comes packed very securely in several boxes. You can see down on the bottom here, they put this plastic with this filling foam, and then there was another piece on top. Same thing over here. So here is our stinger bar. Here is our weight distribution bars. First thing we're going to do is install the stinger bar. Now I have a class 5 hitch on my truck, so I opted for the bigger 2.5-inch receiver tube. So next up is to put the main hitch assembly on the stinger tube. Okay, next up we're gonna grab this tool right here and we are going to lock the hitch assembly onto the stinger bar. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these arms and these little tabs and they're going to lock into here. Now these are adjustable so you can loosen them or tighten them if you need. So this one's gonna go like that. This one's gonna go like that. Then we're gonna take this tool here and we're going to tighten it. There we go. And then once you do that, we're gonna take these safety keys and secure everything in place. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is liberally grease the center ball. And I've just got my grease here. I've got my grease gun, but it works on air compressors, so I'm just gonna take some of this on here and put it in there. So the next step is to back the entire hitch assembly under the coupler of the trailer. So I'm doing this by myself, so I'm gonna just set the camera down and kind of let it pick up everything. And now we're going to lower the trailer down onto the ball. And we're gonna go ahead and latch this. Now that we have the main hitch assembly on the trailer, we can install the frame brackets. Now these are the frame brackets. We have two of them, one for each side, and you have to put the right one on the right side. The way we're gonna know that is by the angle. So you see this angle here, that points towards the back of the trailer, open end towards the front of the trailer. So this is driver's side, this is passenger side. And they are gonna go right here just like this. Now, the way we're gonna know where to put it, you can see I already have a mark there, is we're gonna mark 25.5 inches from the middle of your ball to back here. So 25.5 inches, and you cannot be off by more than a half inch. So the most you can go is 26 inches. The least you could go is 25, but just go to 25.5 inches and we're gonna mount them right like this. And that line is gonna line right up with the very front of the whole hitch assembly here. So we're gonna place the bracket up here and then secure them with the U-bolts. So we got this like this. Go ahead and put our U-bolt down like this, hold it on, grab the other one, hold it on like that. Then we're gonna take these right here and secure them. Okay, so this is very important. When you put your U-bolt on, just realize you're gonna have to drill a hole into the frame either here, 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 or inside here. You need to put 4 of them. So make sure that your U-bolt is not covering up either this hole or this hole, and the same thing on the back. So we're gonna put it right here and then use that top hole. And make sure when you're working on this that you're not hitting any of your propane hoses or your electrical wiring. The next step is to secure this with some self-tapping bolts. Now they give you a drill bit and there's 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, and then there's a 4th one in here. You're gonna choose any 2 on each bracket. So I'm gonna go here and here. I feel like that gives me a good secure from like 1 from the side, 1 from the top. That one's gonna be a pain in the neck to get to. They give you a drill bit, so we're gonna pre-drill the hole and then mount it. So the next thing we have to do is remove this locking collar off of this mounting pin. There's 1 on each side and it's held on by an Allen bolt, and they do give you a key here. So we're just gonna go ahead and loosen this up. And the instructions say to apply some grease to the mounting pin. So we're gonna do that on both sides. So next thing we have to do is take these jacks and we're going to extend them by turning this hex nut counterclockwise. And it says that if this spins, just hold it while you turn it. Now it does say to make sure you go until it stops. So you can see I can't turn it anymore. So next thing we're gonna do is put the jacks onto the mounting pin and then put the collar back on. So the next thing we're gonna do is put the spring bars on. That's these right here, and they're gonna go up inside of here. And you're gonna see there is a grease zerk right here for greasing it, but the instructions actually say to apply some grease onto this end by hand. So the next thing we're gonna do is attach the spring arm to the bottom of the jack with the pin. According to the manual, with the hitch style that I have, I should have my pin in the 5th hole. So you're gonna keep rotating this piece up top until your 5th hole is showing. And for your trailer, it may be differently. You just have to look on the instructions. We're gonna put the pin back in and secure it. Okay, next we're gonna install the struts. So here are our struts. We're gonna have 1/2 is gonna go here and 1/2 is gonna go here. Okay, so on my hitch, there are 3 holes here, and it says to keep this as level with the top as possible. So it looks like it's gonna be the middle hole for me. Okay, so now we need to adjust the struts, and what it says is you want to just grab it and see if it moves side to side. So it is moving a little bit. So we're gonna just take this here and we're going to turn it and then try it again. It looks like we're good there. Maybe just go a little bit more here. And then all we're gonna do is tighten it down. And then we're gonna take this up here. It's gonna come over, go up, and then it locks in place just like that. So this side is good. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the other side. Okay, last thing we need to do is adjust the tension bar. So we're gonna take some weight off of the truck by raising up the trailer. And what we're gonna do is we're going to adjust these until this is about level with the trailer. Okay, so it looks like the truck is level. I'm gonna have to give it a little test drive. What I don't like is the trailer seems to be a little bit nose down. So I'm gonna take it for a quick test drive before I put it away for the night. So overall, the installation wasn't that bad. I mean, considering that I was filming the installation and I was doing it out in the street in front of my house, it took me a little bit less than an hour. And again, that was me filming it. I would say on average, it should probably take you about 35 to 45 minutes to actually install the hitch. The hardest part that I had trying to figure out, because I couldn't figure out the instructions, was the actual bars. And I did talk to them and they said, make sure that the 2 bars that you have to adjust with the little lever, those should be about the same length on each side. So I just pulled out a measuring tape. Once I did that, everything was super simple, but that's where you saw at the end, I was kind of like, hey, I don't know what to do. But installation really wasn't that bad. When it comes to hooking up and disconnecting, again, not too bad. Just gonna follow the correct steps. You're going to, when you want to disconnect, put your trailer on the jocks, kind of raise it up until like you see there's no weight on the stinger, or it's like in the bar, it's like kind of got the right amount of spacing. Then loosen up your weight distribution bars, disconnect the stinger, and everything is easy. Once you get the hang of actually getting the stinger into the receiver, hooking up is super simple, and I don't think I've had one yet take me more than 5 minutes.
As with anything, I think you should have a cup of coffee. Don't be in a rush. Don't try to be stressed out about stuff. Just take your time. All of these things are for your safety and comfort on the ride over, your peace of mind, and it's worth the time to get it right.
Now, I will say when it comes to hooking up, I generally hook up by myself. I don't have Rachel spotting me or anything. I've been hooking up trailers for so long, I generally don't need a spotter. I know exactly where to go. I do have a backup camera on the F-250, and that really helps to just kind of guide it in. But if you have a spotter, you can probably get it done even quicker. But now that I've hooked up 3 or 4 times with the Hensley Hitch. I will tell you, I actually find it easier and quicker to hook up with the Hensley Hitch than with a traditional trailer hitch.
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
So let's talk about the ride over, because coming over here right now, we're at Myakka State Park, and this was our first long drive with the Hensley Hitch, and we experienced some winds.
I was so surprised because the ride over was so smooth. It was absolutely different, just totally different than when we were coming from Koreshan State Park. And we got out of the car and it is blowing like crazy.
Yeah, we stopped for gas and it was like blowing like 25-mile-an-hour winds because, again, we're driving across Lake Okeechobee, or like on the top of it, and it was windy. I mean, it was windy this whole trip at the park.
But thankfully, we didn't feel it in the car. Like, we didn't feel it on the ride. We felt it like you're supposed to when you get out of your vehicle.
Yeah.
And this definitely wasn't something that would be on my top 10 list as far as, you know, we talk about wants and needs and things you'd like to have for your trailer. Definitely, like, what Joe wants first and what I want first is going to be different. And so this really was a major purchase for us, and it wouldn't have like been at the top of my list when we started out, because I want to have things that make, you know, the inside of the camper cute and comfy, and I want to spend all of the budget on stuff to make my coffee experience better. So different wants and needs, but now that we've purchased it, I'm so glad that we did.
Yeah, so I do want to talk about the drive over a little bit more, because as the driver, there were things that I was experiencing that you could not experience as the passenger. So first of all, you get that normal, like, you know, when a tractor trailer passes you and you start swaying and you kind of get that little white knuckle feel. You don't experience it, or at least I did not experience it, and we were driving on some pretty tight roads in some windy conditions. What we did experience when you would get a super big gust, not necessarily off of a tractor trailer, but like a giant gust coming off of the lake, was instead of having the sway, I would feel the whole truck as if it was one big long piece, just kind of move to the side. So again, it was heavy winds, but you felt like you just had like a block like this, and the block was going like this instead of a block and the back going like this, if that makes any sense.
That fishtail experience.
This was much more easier to control. It was much better to just know that, okay, I feel the wind blowing up against me, so just let me correct by moving my steering wheel instead of having to reach down for the trailer brake. So that was definitely a plus. Now, to get into what you're talking about with your wants and your needs, if you would have come to me when we first got the travel trailer, I definitely would not have had a Hensley Hitch as an absolute need. As a matter of fact, at first I was thinking, like, do I really need a weight distribution hitch, until I started researching it. It wouldn't have been there as a need, but I think now I would definitely put it up there as a need, because here's the thing. No matter what, you need a weight distribution hitch and an anti-sway system.
Yes.
You know, so you need to get like an equalizer system or something like that. Well, if you buy it from the dealer, they're going to charge you between $700 to $1,000 for the installation of it. So yes, that's a lot of money, and yes, the Hensley Hitch is a lot more money. It's at $3,000, but anybody can put this on themselves. Honestly, you could have put it on yourself. It is very, very simple to put on. Once you actually get the receiver on there, it's a matter of just following the directions of put the bolt here and tighten here. So it's really not that difficult to do. But the thing comes down to this. You spend $10, $15, $20, $30, $100,000 on a rig. What is another $3,000 when it comes to safety? Safety is the most important thing for me.
I'm going to say I would actually lower your budget for the trailer and get less trailer if that means that that's what you need to do in order to get the hitch, because whatever you get, whatever you're towing, you're not going to enjoy it until you know it's secure and that you can count on arriving at your destination with your family time after time.
Yeah, so if you're towing any kind of larger trailer, like a 25-footer, a 30-footer, something like that, I highly recommend the Hensley Hitch. Yes, it's going to cost you about $2,000 more than a standard E2 hitch or something like that. But again, look long term. Nothing is more important to me than her safety.
Aww.
And so I don't want to be jeopardizing that over $2,000, because what is $2,000 over the life of the ownership of your travel trailer?
Well, P.S., I don't want to jeopardize your safety either. And I also don't want to jeopardize your peace of mind.
Yeah. So I will leave a link for you down below for the Hensley Hitch. We're not sponsored by them or anything like that. It has made such a difference in our drive, and I'm actually now enjoying driving our travel trailer. Now, if this video helped you at all, please do us a favor, hit that like button down below, and also make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to click the little bell icon, and that way every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
Until next time,
Happy camping!